A while ago, a number of 13-year-old students came to church for what the school teachers described as an experiential journey. We set up several workshops in the church, and I was down to explore with them the subjects of baptisms, weddings, and funerals, hatches, matches, and dispatches, if you like. Towards the end of each session, I left some time for questions. What was very interesting to me was that by far the most fascinating questions among these teenagers were, what happens when we die? Their bewilderment about death was obvious. Steve Turner, the English poet, explored this in a poem titled Heaven. What happens in heaven? Will I sit on a cloud? Is walking or talking or jumping allowed? Will I be on my own or with some of my friends? Does it go on forever or will it eventually end? What happens in heaven? Will I play a harp string? I can't play piano. I can't even sing. Who chooses the music the angels inspire? Who does the auditions for the heavenly choir? What happens in heaven? Will the streets be paved with gold? Is it crowded with people who are incredibly old? Will I know who I am? Will I know what I'm called? If I pinch myself hard, will I feel it at all? What happens in heaven? Do I go through a gate? What if I get myself lost or turn up too late? Is my name on a list? Is the gatekeeper nice? Will you sneak in for nothing? Or is there a price? That was Heaven by Steve Turner. The 13-year-olds did not have the answers precisely because the adults in their lives did not have the answers. When the culture talks about death, like at Halloween, for example, we do so humorously as if death is a joke. Death is not a joke. It is deadly serious. I think we make a joke of death precisely because we lack the vocabulary and often don't know what to say. I find it fascinating that we are happy culturally to expose our children to violence that leads to death on the screen, and yet are reluctant to expose them to death in real life. I suggest we need to talk about death because death is a very big problem. It is one of the very few certainties in life. Recently, I read about Nicholas Walter Stoff's remarkable book, Lament for a Son. When his son Eric died in a mountaineering accident, Nicholas wrote down his reflections, feelings, questions, and thoughts in a book, pleading with Christians not to minimize death in the name of resurrection. In it he writes, elements of the gospel which I had always thought would console me did not. They did something else, something important, but not that. It did not console me to be reminded of the hope of resurrection. Eric is gone. Here and now he is gone. Now I can't talk with him. Now I can't see him. Now I can't hug him. Now I can't hear of his plans for the future. That is my sorrow. Walter Stoff goes on to say, a friend said, remember, he's in good hands. I was deeply moved, but that reality did not put Eric back into my hands now. That's my grief. For that grief, what consolation can there be other than having him back? Some blurted out strange, inept things. That's okay too. Your words don't have to be wise. The heart that speaks is heard more than the words spoken. And if you can't think of anything at all to say, just say, I can't think of anything to say. But I want you to know that we are with you in your grief. Or even just embrace. But please don't say it's not really so bad, because it is. Death is awful. If you think your task as a comforter is to tell me that really, all things considered, it's not so bad, You do not sit with me in my grief, but place yourself off in a distance away from me. Over there, you are of no help. What I need to hear from you is that you recognize how painful it is. I need to hear from you that you are with me in my desperation. To comfort me, you have to come close. Come sit beside me on my mourning bench. In my pastoral experiences, Walter Stoff is spot on. Christians must not minimize death in the name of resurrection. The heart that speaks is louder than the words spoken. Sometimes all we can do is sit, weep, listen, embrace. Who among us can't do that? Sit, weep, listen, embrace. The message of resurrection is incredibly powerful. The message of resurrection is incredibly powerful in our culture when we do this. Sit, weep, listen, embrace.